On a Friday morning in Dhaka, a bank employee checked a printer. The tray was empty. It looked like a technical fault. But while the printer remained silent, payment orders were already moving through the global banking system. 35 instructions, nearly $1 billion, and one misspelled word was about to expose them. At exactly 8:45 a.m., duty manager Zubair bin Huda entered the secured Swift printer room on the 10th floor of Bangladesh Bank. The machine that normally produced daily confirmation records had printed absolutely nothing. Huda and his staff treated the silence as a routine malfunction, assuming it was a common glitch they had seen before. They tried a manual print, but the system failed to respond. In the quiet of the morning, this silent tray was the first physical sign of a deeper, highly coordinated intrusion, quietly unfolding inside the bank's compromised computers. The money the thieves targeted did not actually sit in Dhaka. Bangladesh Bank kept its US dollar reserves thousands of miles away in a secure account at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York. To move these millions, the bank relied on SWIFT, a global messaging network that transmits authenticated instructions between financial institutions. SWIFT does not hold funds, it merely carries the electronic orders to transfer them. Investigators later confirmed that neither the New York Fed nor SWIFT's core network had been breached. Their security systems remained intact. Instead, the attackers bypassed these massive fortresses by targeting the weakest link in the chain, the bank's own internal computers connected to the network. It was a heist engineered for a modern financial system, a vault with no physical walls, where entry is gained not with explosives, but by manipulating trusted connections. According to allegations later detailed by United States prosecutors, the quiet infiltration of Bangladesh Bank began in October 2014. The entry point was remarkably simple. Federal investigators claim the attackers sent targeted spear phishing emails to bank employees disguised as routine job inquiries. When a recipient opened an attached resume, malicious software secretly installed itself on the computer, granting remote access. This initial foothold allowed the intruders to move laterally through the bank's network. Prosecutors allege the attackers spent over a year inside the system, acting as silent observers. They monitored daily workflows, recorded keystrokes, and mapped the bank's digital architecture. Through this quiet surveillance, the attackers identified the exact Windows workstations running the Swift Alliance access software, learning how transfer requests were validated, authorized, and logged. But mapping the target was only half the plan. A parallel operation was underway in the Philippines to prepare the escape route. In May 2015, $4-denominated accounts were opened at a branch of the Rizal Commercial Banking Corporation in Manila. Opened under fabricated identities with initial deposits of just $500 each, these accounts sat completely dormant for months. To the bank's compliance systems, they were ordinary, inactive accounts. In reality, they were digital catch basins, waiting for a massive influx of stolen capital. By early 2016, the internal routines of Bangladesh Bank were fully exposed, and the receiving pipeline was set. The system was primed for execution. On Thursday, February the 4th, 2016, at approximately 8:36 in the evening, the attackers initiated the final phase. In Dhaka, the work week was over, and Bangladesh Bank was entering its Friday to Saturday weekend. The offices were empty, but across the world the clocks worked in the intruders' favour. In New York, the Federal Reserve Bank was just starting its business day, with processing windows wide open. Further east, Manila was winding down for its own weekend, ahead of the upcoming Lunar New Year holiday. By launching the transfers at this exact moment, the perpetrators weaponized global geography. They knew that as the fraudulent instructions moved through the international banking system, they would land in offices where the key personnel had already gone home for the weekend. Over the course of that evening, the compromised SWIFT system dispatched 35 fraudulent payment orders. The total targeted was staggering, seeking to drain approximately $951 million from the Bangladesh Bank Reserve account. But the sheer volume, timing, and unusual recipient patterns instantly disrupted the normal flow of transactions. While the Federal Reserve's automated filters held or rejected the vast majority of these orders, a critical few slipped through. 4 separate transfers, totaling $81 million, successfully cleared and headed toward accounts in the Philippines. Another transaction, directing $20 million toward a recipient in Sri Lanka, was also authorized. The quiet intrusion had suddenly transformed into a high-speed financial flood, split between those that failed and those that escaped. The $20 million transfer, destined for Sri Lanka, was routed through Deutsche Bank. As the routing systems processed the instruction, a single line in the beneficiary field drew manual scrutiny. The intended recipient was the Shalika Foundation, but the hackers had entered the name as Shalika Foundation. This spelling error prompted a compliance officer at Deutsche Bank to halt the transaction and send an inquiry to Dhaka. While that specific transfer froze, it was not the sole safeguard. Automated filters and suspicious payment patterns were already blocking most of the remaining orders. The spelling error stopped only one transfer, while separate systemic alarms blocked the other orders. One letter helped reveal the crime. By then, $81 million was already gone. The failure files. True events that sound impossible. Next, an investigation into the Florida water treatment incident, in which an operator reported seeing a computer mouse move and a chemical setting change. The $81 million that bypassed safeguards landed in the 4 inactive accounts at the Rizal Commercial Banking Corporation in Manila. These accounts, opened months earlier under the false names of Michael Cruz, Alfred Vergara, Enrico Vasquez, and Jesse Lagrosas, suddenly sprang to life. Within hours, the funds were consolidated and converted into local currency at the branch's foreign exchange desk. The money was then transferred to Philrem Service Corporation, a local remittance firm used to move capital quickly across the country. From there, the trail splintered into cash, and foreign exchange transfers routed directly to casino junket operators, including Dingjize and Gaoshuhua. By converting the wealth into casino chips and playing them through high roller tables, the perpetrators systematically erased the digital footprint. This rapid chain of transfers took place over a weekend and ahead of the Lunar New Year, when banking offices were closed and compliance teams were offline. By the time officials in Dhaka realized what had happened and sent urgent stop payment messages to Manila on Monday, February the 8th, the cash had already vanished into the casino system, leaving investigators to chase a ghost. United States prosecutors later filed criminal charges, alleging that state-backed hackers associated with North Korea's Lazarus Group were responsible for the intrusion. This remains a criminal allegation, not a proven verdict. The attack succeeded not because of a single structural flaw, but because many ordinary weaknesses converged across global institutions. A basic spear phishing email, compromised office computers, a silent 10th floor printer, mismatched holiday calendars, and dormant accounts in Manila all combined to build a gateway to $1 billion. Ultimately, this sprawling digital dragnet, engineered to bypass the world's most secure financial networks, was disrupted by the simplest of analog safeguards, a human operator noticing a single misspelled word. Today, the global financial network remains vulnerable to the quietest intrusions. One letter helped reveal the crime. By then, $81 million was already gone. The failure files, true events that sound impossible. Next, in Florida, an operator watches his mouse move and a chemical setting change.